Hi, I'm Leathur Rokk. Welcome to my channel. I'm live on the Atlantic City Boardwalk. This is Chickies and Pete's right here. It's part of Tropicana. They actually have pretty good music. They just played some moody blues, the happy stuff, not the tearjerker stuff. I've actually heard music that I'm not even sure what it is. And I try to avoid current music or new music to me because I don't want to be inspired by shit that I haven't already heard. But they have played some really good rock stuff there. And then if you have to go through Firewaters, they play country music. And I don't know what it is I heard earlier, but it was really good stuff. I wish you could be here with me right now. It feels like not particularly hot and steamy summer day. It is probably, I'm guessing, about 75, 76 degrees. There is a breeze. The sun is quite intense. I have reapplied sunblock 5 different times because this is not safe. All the way to Absurd, hello. Uh, I got something stuck on my things, my screen here. It says Pua Balfour. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm wonderful. Scuffed Frank, hello. I am starting to celebrate my birthday early. If you didn't already see through the community tab, somebody rang my doorbell this morning as I was getting ready to get the hell out of the house to do this, among other things. And I'm also expecting a package from Timu, so I got my ears open because what they do is they use they clear customs in China or wherever. Then it gets out of the airport. Then it goes through both USPS and then UPS, and there's a handoff. And then it ends up at the Atlantic City Post Office, and then it gets delivered here, right? And I can actually track packages. I'm, trying my best not to have a bad package thing. So there's a doorbell. It wasn't my package. It was my new neighbor just moved in, who I knew him from volunteering with the church downstairs, and he's a hell of a nice guy. And he had said, "Hold out your hand." He says, "Happy early birthday," and he dumped a whole medicine bottle full of weed in my hand. It's like, happy early birthday to me. And well, hold on. I'm not going to smoke it in front of you because I don't have a lighter right now. At home, my lighter is the gas stove, but I'm pretty sure I brought it. Uh, and the stuff I mentioned on the title of this day and day of Mercury, when it hits 3 p.m., it's going to be the hour of Mercury. If any of you are practicing magicians, you know about planetary hours, right? If you are a little bit curious, let me give you a little education. And I'm sure I've mentioned this before. Every day of the week has a planetary ruler. And Wednesday, today, our the ruler is Saturn, is excuse me, Mercury. And this is the talisman, the seal of Mercury. Okay. And so check this out. There are 4 days, 4 hours during which it's the planetary hour of whatever day it is. Today being Wednesday, this no matter what day of the week it is, these hours hold true. 1 a.m. the night before is the hour of the planet. 8 a.m. in the morning, 3 p.m. and 10 p.m. These are all planetary hours where the hour will match the day of any planet. So today being Mercury, when it hits 3 p.m., it's going to be the hour and the day of the planet Mercury. And I feel so good about this. And I hope to still be, talking to you here. I did a little bit more charging up in the ladies' room, and I filmed at least 2 decent videos before I did this. I was going to put on, or at least put something a little bit different on because I realized I'm wearing the same thing I wore in the previous video, even though I got 2 new items of clothing today. But you know what? I'm going to show you. First of all, this is not new. This was my cover up today. It was such an ideal match. Uh, you know what the Mercury colors are? Now it depends on what you're following. Kabbalah has slightly different colors, but the color system I use, Mercury's colors are both orange and purple. So if you're using a candle, you can have both orange and purple. Orange by itself can be used for attraction, by the way, but uh, I love the planet Mercury. It's such a useful planet because Mercury is the planet of communications. Mercury governs computers. Mercury governs talking to people, talking on the internet. Mercury also governs transportation. So if you are, whenever Mercury goes retrograde, and sometimes you have problems with your flight reservations or your bus connections or communicating with friends or even things getting lost in the mail. Mercury is a very useful, very it's the kind of planet. It's like somebody who's kind of thinks they got a bit of power on in your town, and he's on the board of directors of this, and he's on the board of education, and maybe he's involved in the clergy, and maybe he has other businesses, and he's on all these boards, and he's gotten the respect of a lot of people in his hands and a whole lot of pies. Mercury's like that. Mercury is involved and useful in so many aspects of our lives. So as far as useful planets and useful days of the week to get a lot of specific things done, Mercury, I love Mercury. Mercury is like if I say I have a challenge in my life and I'm thinking that instead of just doing it practically, I'm going to use a little metaphysics to help me along. The very first planet I'm going to work with is Mercury because Mercury will govern and say I'm having a conflict with somebody. You don't want to go full force Mars, start a fight with them, start a war with them. That you don't want to do that. Very rarely do you want to do that because you have to have a lot of confidence and you have to have a lot of um metaphysical ammunition. I would never go with the God of War for that. You know what I'm saying? I think you would go with communication, reasoning first, and also facilitating it. It's a much more peaceful. It's like mediation rather than going and threatening to kick somebody's ass. You know, a lot of times if you talk politely to somebody, you can reason with people, and Mercury is great for that. A lot of times if you go with Mercury, you take care of things before you have any negativity. Okay, I am. I want to make sure that I haven't missed anything that anybody has said. Hi, Chandelier, hello. Uh, you on sub dump? What happened with Dumpstar? I feel really bad that he has been going live lately, and he's been traveling around, and I have been so busy with just stuff with my mom, figuring out whether or not I'm going to be able to go to Madison Square Garden to see Trump. It's like first I'm thinking, oh, I can do this, and I'm thinking, what am I going to do with my computer once I'm there? And I'm going to go and camp out, and having camped out in Wildwood, the temperature extremes, you go from really, 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 really cold, and then you're like hot, you're too hot, and then all of a sudden you're cold again. And if you don't have a trunk of somebody's car or someplace to save your shit, like in my case, say I bring a sleeping bag there. Okay, I'm probably going to have to leave it there. And what am I going to do with my computer? Unless I could arrange for somebody who's not a Trumper who happens to live there, who hold on to my laptop for a while. And that's the thing, And then I'm thinking, how much of that are they even going to charge me to get there? Maybe somebody will ask if I'm a senior, and if they do, I could get half fare. Damn right. A matter of fact, I'll wear heavy makeup and cake it on my face, accentuate every line and wrinkle, and do a Jack Benny. And if I can get it for 44 instead of 88 or whatever the fuck it is, it's not cheap to go to New York. I decided to finally go to a New Jersey Transit site. Thinking. I I liked how he was getting donations to get sandwiches for homeless people in the morning. I really respected him for that. That was the last thing I was really aware of him doing. Foggy, Oregon. Oh, that's where you're at, Oregon. Oh, by the way, Shanda, however, and I'm not even high. I actually watched a bunch of your shorts today while I was getting ready. All those deers. You know, it made me think of my grandma's garden. And actually, the deer was such a nuisance in rural Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. and you could only use a crossbow or a bow and arrow because, like, when I first was a little girl, there were just every now and then it would be a house and a hill, and there was a lot of space. And like supposedly, my father's father, who was a little bit of a, I don't want to call him a pervert, but he was a nudist, and I heard he may have had orgies and stuff, and he was a drunk. And they had hedges that were like 12 foot high around the house so nobody could see anybody naked. Okay. Now, I have no proof of this, but this is a family story. And my father was deeply ashamed because my father was a very, very modest, very decent man. For all that was my perception of him. He liked this paper pornography, mind you. I found, oh, my mom used to find so many stacks of blue magazines and stuff growing up, and he would stash them behind the radiator, and my mother would find them and say, this is what this is actually, and throw them in the trash. I would sometimes read them. Maybe that's where I got my taste for garter belts. But when my father died, I was going through his things before. My mom didn't see them, and frankly, some of the stuff she didn't need to see. One of the things he left behind was a Xerox copy of a Hustler comic. It was this guy he was a bowler. My father was a bowler also, and the man had put his wife's lipstick on one of the holes of this bowling ball and put one of his wife's wigs on the bowling ball, and he was naked, kneeling on the bed. Don't let your kids listen to the rest of this. And anyway, the man was about to do what you think he was going to do, and the wife walked in, and she said, "I thought this was your bowling day." Anyway, I saved that. Bob never saw it, obviously. Most of these things are actually in a room that my brother has control over. And there was a video that I made a couple of months ago where I talked about finding a bunch of things that I had torn up and were thrown in the trash. That's where I had to rescue a lot of those things from, or the things that I'd already found in the trash. I don't think there's any more of my letters in that room. And there's a lot of things that I didn't really have any use for. My mom didn't have any use for, and she didn't care, like a lot of Boy Scout administrative stuff. And the stuff that pertained to sports stuff and the stuff that pertained to my brother, obviously I would leave that. But did you unsubbed for him? Uh, he there was so much that I liked about him, and I really, because I met him when the cops were fucking with me on the boardwalk for my guitar playing, and they had literally threatened me. It was not the last time that they threatened to kick me off, but they had literally told me that they were going to be issuing fines, and that even if I got the license, well, they lied to me and said that the license that I needed to play did not exist. I didn't occur to me that these cops would actually lie to my face, because growing up, I was taught to respect cops, respect authority. And if I did something and I was wrong and I got caught, my parents wouldn't bail me out, and it was on me. And even now, I have conversations with my mom all the time where I say, "Mom, do you want me to chance it? Do you want me to go out with my guitar, make some money, help with the credit card stuff?" Because she's carrying a credit card debt now. I feel sick that I was deprived of such a useful way to make a living. I wasn't hurting anybody. I wasn't littering. I wasn't, okay. Some of my songs might have some naughty words in them, but I didn't sing them when there's kids around. Okay. And I wasn't causing problems, and, but anyway, it is what it is, and this is one of the spots that it's just got too much music in it. The spot that I actually like to play and that they kicked me off of is down there, like a block just at the edges. So I want you to see this. I hope I'm not losing a signal. This had so much bird shit on it. It was disgusting. I didn't feel like going to get a couple of a newspaper. They have a like TV guide kind of thing for local TV and stuff, and they're good for setting things on. But I ended up going into the bathroom with a bunch of soapy washcloth, paper towels. And I scrubbed this and scrubbed this and scrubbed this. And I didn't have any water because I didn't think to bring an empty water bottle. If I did, I could have filled it with water. But anyway, I got it clean enough to use as my computer mount. And, it really, and I did it while I was wearing my MAGA hat, by the way. But anyway, I want to show you the things I got today. Now this, I'm sure is way too big, but I can belt this in. It is, maybe I should tilt this down. You know, it occurs to me, I think I need to install some kind of, I don't want to call it a scope or a sight, but I want to, like, maybe I just put a couple popsicle sticks where the webcam is, because I find I still have a hard time of judging. Say I'm holding my computer and I'm trying to film like a squirrel or something, or a lot of times I'm trying to film this and I end up pointing down here and I have this useless footage of the ground. And it's really annoying when I watch my footage. I'm like looking like, you know, like as if I can make it see more. And I know that if it's annoying me, it's got to annoy you. I think I'm going to have to trim some footage. Uh, and that is one basic thing that is that I'm able to do in this computer. Other things they want me to do this clip champ stuff, and I'm sure it's not a hard learning curve. But with all this shit going on in my life, I'm too lazy to deal with it. You know, you ever feel too lazy to deal with some of this tech? You're like, man, I don't want to feel like I have to get a 4-year college degree just to learn how to do something. I don't have that kind of patience. You know, and maybe I don't have that kind of time. I don't know. Just, I mean, I know we can all get this same 24 hours in a day, but I want to do things with my time. Now, this is way big. Well, I'm gonna belt it. I'll wear it like once. If it's really too big, you know, um, um, I'm trying to, I'm trying to read the, wait a minute, Sean Lou says, he told me off for saying Portland sucks. Actually, I have heard that Portland sucks now with the Intifada and Black Lives Matters and Antifa and the pro-Palestine movement. Yes, you know what? And I was there for a week. In, I think what the year is. All the people call me Granny. Shut your ears. I'm trying to think what year it was. I was in Portland for a week. I think it was 1998. Maybe it was 1997. I don't know. I had these friends from Hollywood that when I went up to San Francisco, because there was a time where some Hollywood people, you spend some time in Hollywood, then you go up to San Francisco, back and forth, Hollywood, San Francisco, San Francisco. San Francisco, we had a lot of fun in those days. A lot of, psychedelics, LSD, MDMA, amphetamines, pot, not so much alcohol. Well, one time though, I did get drunk and I had a bad experience, and somebody hit me with a smiley in the back of my head. If you don't know what a smiley is, it's a lock with a combination lock or a key lock. It could be, but it's a big one and it's on a heavy chain and it's used as a weapon. And I was hit in the back of the head and it left. I didn't even realize I was bleeding until I put my hand in the street light because it was dark and there was some blood, but it wasn't a whole lot of blood. And I'm still not exactly sure what was up with that or who I may have offended. I don't know, but I was sniffing a lot of amphetamines at that time in my. I can't imagine that would make a person be rude, but I don't know. But anyway, getting back to Portland, one of my friends who also was would do the Hollywood and San Francisco thing. He was crashing out on the roof of Turk Street Studios. If anybody knows San Francisco, it's on Turk Street, which is in the Tenderloin. But Turk Street Studios is rehearsal space for musicians. If it's still being used as that, I don't know. Because considering what rents are like now, it could very well be high class condominiums or something, or those Section 8 or one room apartments that you have to get on a waiting list for. And I actually got on a waiting list for them. But by the time I came on the waiting list, I'd started being a movie extra in Hollywood. and was getting enough work, then why the heck would I want to go someplace where I didn't really have a living? And at least in Hollywood, I may not have had a home a lot of times, but I had work. I had gigs, and my gigs were fun. When you're on a movie set, they pay you every day and they feed you every day, and you get to work with who ends up being your friends. If they weren't your already, they become your friends. You really become have emotional connections with people. If you're on a project for 3 or 4 or 5 months, they and then when the thing finally it wraps, and you feel sad, and then you guys go out one last time at a club, and you know, like with rock star, for instance. Oh man. Oh, I was just given that string backpack though. But string backpacks really hurt if you have any kind of weight and a big dig in your back. But check this out. This is again way too big, but I love the color. And you know what? I could belt this in. I could on top of something else that is tighter and fits me. We need to have extra layers because when the wind kicks up and you're by the shore, you get a dampness in the wind, and boy, you get chilly. So, but the color is, oh, this is like what I want my hair to look like, and some streaks that are a little bit bluer and darker. Hi, pigeon. Look at the pretty birdie. Hey, pretty. Oh, don't fall. Say hi. I wish I had some food for you. Hi, pigeon. Pretty, pretty birdie. I like pigeons. Oh, you're the one with the white on your tail. Look at his tail when he turns around. Show them your tail. You got some white tail feathers on your tail. Pretty. Yeah. Oh, see, look at that. Look at that. Pretty birdie. I love pigeons. I don't know. I don't know why. I have an affinity for pigeons. You're pretty. You meet today? Mhm. I wish I had something for you. I changed purses. I had 3 peanuts in the shell. I would gladly give you, but I didn't bring them with me. I didn't think I would have some people to feed. Yeah, I was admiring this guy. I don't know how much room I have to walk around here because this is not always where I could get a good signal. Sometimes then when you get out on the boardwalk, there's a competition between the boardwalk Wi-Fi signal and the casino Wi-Fi signal. And for some reason, in the casino signal is always stronger. For some reason, it's been a couple of years you could get the boardwalk signal strong enough to go live on. I could never do that. Like I would love to go live in front of Boardwalk Hall. I can't do it. Only in front of the casinos. And if you go up by resorts where if I got the permit, I to be, it is too loud up there. I was just there last week several times. I filmed up there, and it's just very congested. You've got all these people sitting on the boardwalk with signs saying homeless, hungry, anything helps, God bless. And you see occasionally cardboard set out, but they're finding people $300 for sleeping in public now. And it's not just here on the boardwalk, they were going into a lot of the parks. And another thing I noticed, the ambassadors, the people in the chartreuse uniforms and the khaki pants that go up and down the boardwalk, and some of them are very nice people. They are. Some of them are a little bit nosy, like when you're in the bathroom, and really, when you're in the bathroom, people should not be worrying about what you're doing. And I've gotten some uncomfortable scrutiny when, sometimes I have no choice but to add a layer in the bathroom. And, they have signs saying no changing of clothes. And it's like, I would like to sometimes get different looks. If I'm filming a bunch of videos, I want to look different for each video if I remember. And I don't want somebody giving me attitude, and why should it be their business? Or maybe there's no hooks in the bathroom, so I have no choice but to do things at the sink that I would rather do in the stall. And then you get somebody who is supposed to be outside or is outside for whatever reason. It decides to stand right exactly in the doorway where you could see into the bathroom. So while I'm at the sink, I've got somebody outside who's like looking at me, and it's like, why? And it's not always men that do, not always women that do this. It's men that do this too. Is it just me or is that intrusive? I noticed that was going on at the Atlantic City Library, and I said something about it when I got out of there. And he told me because they caught so many people using needles and had to revive a lot of people with Narcan and stuff. So, Dumpstar, uh, so if any, I never heard anybody insult New Orleans when he lived there. He would have gone offensive if people had dis NOLA, is that how they call it? I mean, I've never gotten offended when people said anything about any towns I lived in. I've lived in San Francisco. I've lived in Hollywood. I, my time living here, I certainly don't object if people say this town sucks. I would be the first to agree with them. And especially if you're on the fringes of society, you probably are not going to have always the best experiences in every town. Like the things that's really bummed me out lately is I've been thinking about Florida for a couple of years now, and I'm thinking of places besides California where I think I could really be happy. But a combination of all these storms and what's been happening in the South in general with the hurricanes and the tornadoes and the floods and washing those people away and the mud encasing them and them being out of contact with the outside world for like a week or more, and all these things happening to the people with back-to-back storms and the suffering and it's been weighing on my heart thinking, well, how long did it take for FEMA to and the government and everybody else? It was President Donald J. Trump. It was Elon Musk. It was Billy Graham's son Franklin and Samaritan's Purse. It was I'm sure it was also the Red Cross and people when as soon as they talked about it on Fox News, they put the Fox Forward thing. And I understand that there are people that went down there specifically to help. I'm sure there's lots of volunteers and stuff, and I guess the only way really to access a lot of those neighborhoods was by air. And I can't even imagine the suffering. And how do you deal with, okay, you want to get as high as possible if there's floodwaters, right? But then there's tornadoes where you would want to get down in the basement, but your basement would have been flooded. So if you're thinking about a place to actually make a home in, where do you go? Because like I always thought, okay, I am terrified of tornadoes, and I'm thinking I want to move into a bus, right? And I'm thinking, first of all, if I was president or anyway had the control, I would make a law that whenever a tornado is forecast, any underground parking facilities automatically free, so that if you got a bus, you got a car, you're in there, get you and your stuff, and you can drive in that and you be safe underground. You're on the street, well, just like people pull you into uh the cold chest in their 7-Eleven or whatever, or the bank vault in the bank, or whatever is an indoor lower place, like a cage or something with no windows, all that shit. But there should be a law so that, okay, say you're living in your bus, you got a school bus, or even if you got Greyhound bus. Your Greyhound bus is full of people. Drive underground into that parking garage, and it should be free. It should automatic any time of day or night. When there's a tornado, save a lot of lives. Better yet, build underground. I wish I could have spoken to T.B. Pickens, certain really wealthy industrials who would be in a position to spend billions of dollars on infrastructure. I would like to pull the ears of the powerful and the rich. Elon Musk, if anybody has a ear to him, anybody has a ear to Donald Trump, please, I would like to talk to him. I'm not an engineer. I'm not an architect. I have an idea here that, what, I haven't even set things into place to get a patent to have an ideas out there. I do have some ideas. It maybe would have been easier if I had an architectural background or I had certain kinds of an education to my credit. But I have this idea for a way to build underground and to, if not retrofit existing houses, because I understand if you have plumbing and you have gas pipes and you have electric lines that sometimes are buried underground, it would be really hard to put a sleeve on everything and put everything underground so that the storm can pass, the twister can blow over, and it doesn't blow everything over. But imagine if that could be done. You know who could do it? Elon Musk's of the world, the people who are educated, who have the resources, have the influence. Imagine the lives that would be saved. We are having more and more of these tornadoes. There's got to be a way to put the houses safe. But also another way where this can be beneficial. All these places that have wildfires. I've heard many stories of if you are underground and you cover yourself with flame retardant thing and you have an oxygen supply, you have a good chance of fire burning over you and surviving. That they've had firemen do that. There have been families that have done that. I mean, there's I don't want to get into the details, but imagine if you could make yourself underground and you could protect yourself from wildfires and tornadoes. I think we really need to start thinking about going underground with the way all these storms we're having in the middle of the country, in the south, in the plains. Tornado Alley is not just one place anymore, and this has been weighing on my heart. You watch the Weather Channel and they show you stories of people whose homes blow away. They've worked all their lives, maybe three generations, of houses that they love, pictures of family, pets, all this stuff. And the farmers in their gardens, what about them? These tornadoes happen, it blows everything. Does it bother you? It bothers me. And and you get to a point in life where you're thinking, am I going to even rebuild after all this? I mean, and it makes the flood insurance more expensive, all these insurances. And if you don't have it, then you're really screwed. And then they keep on changing where they say the zones are. And people, they rezone something, then all of a sudden, oh, it's not mandatory. You don't need to get flood insurance. So these people didn't. And then these floods wiped them out. And it just, how anybody could watch these people and not be moved. If you're not moved by them, you don't have a soul. And what would we do here if a big storm came up the coast? I mean, maybe if you lived in these 20 something, 30 something story buildings, like those nice condos up there, you might be okay. Or I just watched something about if we had a similar thing that to Milton and Helene, Helene, that was the name. Uh, it would the only safe place in Atlantic City would be the area around the Gold Nugget and the Borgata, the marina. I don't know if they mean actually in the upper levels of the hotel or they mean because you think about storm surge and you think about high tides, and I know when this area, when Sandy hit, I didn't evacuate. We never evacuated. If you have pets until very recently, a lot of shelters just didn't accept them. And if you had an animal, oh well, they weren't allowed. So we didn't want to. We're not going to leave our animals behind. We always stayed. And living on a second floor walk up now, it didn't get that high. And when it does flood around there on the corner, it always goes down within the 3 or 4 hours. So it was not bad, really. And I actually went out. The water was over here, and was I around here, or maybe I was over there? I don't remember. But anyway, I was out wading in water, and I was taking. I had a disposable, not disposable camera. It was a little digital camera, and I was taking pictures out in the storm. There was this lady from Germany, German tourist, and she was doing the same thing. And I took a picture of her, and she took a picture of me, and and my mom thought I was being an idiot. But I like the excitement of being out in weather, not deadly weather. I know what it's like to be crossing Pacific Avenue. This is the main street behind the boardwalk and the beach is Pacific Avenue. And one time I was crossing the street right over, like diagonally from the Tropicana, and the wind was like the wall wind was so hard to cross the street. I was really pushing. It was, man, sometimes I thought, wonder what would happen if I jumped up real high when the wind was blowing. Would it carry me out? I mean, what would happen? Would that be a dangerous thing to do? I've jumped in wind and it's never blown me anywhere, but my mom has told me at times when she was coming home from the Trump Taj Mahal, and they make them, they don't let them walk through the casino floor and go the more convenient exit, which would be right next to where the public transit is. They make them go out this real dreary I guess it's Maryland Avenue, and it's like, okay, there's a light right there, but it's back of the house, so it's not much to look at. And it just looks like if any car decided to come up there and snatch you and kidnap you, you'd be screwed. And one time, a couple of times, there were thunderstorms and lightning bolts be bearing down. And she has a little bit of a walk to get to the jitney stop, and how terrifying that must have been. And she's overweight and has shortness of breath, and she couldn't just book it up the street. How I would have been terrified because I have a thing about lightning, and you don't have anything protecting you. You're out in the elements and stuff. Occasionally, somebody would give her rides home and stuff, but you know, uh, what was I going to say? But yeah, we never have evacuated during any storms, and I have a lot of digital pictures from Sandy. When we lived, the other apartment that we lived in, we've always lived on ground floor apartments here. When we lived kind of near the bay, that's higher ground, so that area does not flood. Even though I wonder what would happen if the bay flooded and it went over the seawall. I wonder if that's ever happened. There's an edge of the bay where you can lean over if you're fishing. You can actually walk on the edge of it and you can sit on it because it's about maybe a foot narrow, and it's very splintery old wood. And in the summertime, or maybe year round, people canoe, and I think that's called the Intercoastal Waterway. And of course, there are a few bridges that come into the city. One of them is Absecon. Well, the island itself is called Absecon Island. It's the Albany Avenue Bridge here. And then Bader Field is right next to Bader Field, which was the nation's first airport. They coined the term airport. It was only had runway space for what we call puddle jumper planes, the little planes, like 49 seats or less, or whatever the hell. But I've never been on any plane that landed in it, and I haven't flown since '93. So I don't care to fly. Thank you. That I had a scary experience. If I didn't do the story time about it, I'll save it for the story time. But no, I don't care to be in the air. Thank you. Enjoy going home. But anyway, I'll have to see. It smells like it was washed too, but I'm going to wash it anyway because who knows how many people put their hands on it and what kinds of bunchies they have. So, so I can't get over what a beautiful day it is today. It's just really, really nice. Oh, hello there. Oh, you're cute. Oh, you should see the cutie face I'm looking at right now. These squirrels, the biggest eyes. We probably ran. What was it? That's a sugar packet I'm grabbing. Oh, yes. Hello. Sugar. You know, I have to watch. I don't know how many sugars or sweet loaves I have left. Me, maybe tomorrow morning early, I have to go and re up. Oh, I don't want to get into details, but maybe I've been known to put my hair in one of those bonnet things, wear something real low profile, very minimal makeup, and go someplace where I can grab a handful of sweet loaves for my coffee. If that's going to send me to hell, so be it. But you know what? I'm a poor girl. Oh, and I lost another income stream. I have to bitch about this. There was this company that I was had a gig with for years. They're called Digital Reflections. And I don't know how I even learned about it. It may have been through one of those survey companies that I use to take surveys with. I've been taking surveys for, oh gosh, I don't, I'm going to guess at least 10 years. I don't, one of the things I don't like about them is when you are wasting all kinds of time, you don't know if you're even going to qualify, and you never know till you actually qualify it. And you have to be real careful. They have all these fraud checks in place. If they catch you doing things, they'll ban you and stuff. And I'd like to say that I never ever was, but every now and then I have been known to assume a character because but I didn't do it in a malicious way. I did it from the standpoint of that person and their needs, using skills that I have as an actor and just knowledge. And so I wasn't actually being fraudulent. But I didn't do that much, but occasionally, if it was a higher paying one, and I, you know, it's surviving. You're gonna, you get paid in, like, first it was PayPal, but then they started all of a sudden this thing with the IRS that if you earn more than $600, you have fine. You have to form to fill out, and don't want to be on the IRS's radar, especially like if you've got an insurance that expects that you're absolutely poor and destitute, which, okay, technically I am, but if they try to say, oh, but you're living with two other people and one's your mom, and like, don't tie me in with somebody else's income. Their income has nothing to do with me, especially if in the case of my brother, his income takes care of his needs and maybe some of our utilities. My mom's income takes care of the rent, you know. But this digital reflections, it was a set type box that is installed actually directly to your router, which the router is in my mother's bedroom. And this thing stays plugged in. It's hardwired in, like, with an Ethernet cable. And it's a weird kind of cable that kind of, it's like you insert it, and it's really, really hard to come out. It's like almost like it has a hook attached to it. I don't know what that connection's for. Hold that thought while I put this. I guess I could put this. Hold on. It was on the ground, so I didn't want to put it where the clothes were. Okay, anyway, it attaches to your set top box, and what it does is it sniffs your internet traffic without including personally identifiable information. Like if I was using a real credit card to order something, it wouldn't keep the number. I don't use real credit cards to order online anyway. I use disposable debit cards that, like, you get them in anything, but usually in $50 uh cards, and you use that until you use it up or whatever. You can get them up in 7-Elevens. They call them vanilla visas, and you can get them for up to $500 at a time. Like if you have a bunch of cash, like say you had tips from guitar. Oh, there's birds up here. Gotta keep in mind why this area got shit on it. I don't want shit in my keyboard, thank you. Um, Anyway, where was I going? I think that totally distracted me. Oh yeah, you can get up to $500 on one of those cards, and they charge you $490 processing fee. Now, if you wanted $1,000, you can't get $1,000 one. You have to get two $500 ones, and that's kind of a drag because you end up paying almost $10 for a fee. And I really have a problem with fees. That's another reason why I don't use banks anymore. I don't like being charged for the privilege of using my own money that I work for and that maybe I even had to pay taxes on. So you're going to make me pay on top of that, and then you're going to make me compromise my safety by limiting how many ATM withdrawals I can make in a month, even on the bank's ATM. When I was living in San Francisco last time I was there, well, I was there for 10 days. I wouldn't call that living in. But anyway, I had a Bank of America bank account. It was a savings account. And I'd only had a couple of months when they changed the requirement for minimum balance you had to have. So I had to have more in there before I could even take anything out before you have fees, right? And then they said you can only make 3 withdrawals a month. And if I'm someplace, oh, they started doing this last year that I was actually living there for like 6 months. If I am out walking around, I don't want to be carrying a bunch of cash in case I get mugged. And it was nowhere near the danger zone as San Francisco is now. But you can only withdraw 3 times, which forces you to carry cash. And for the most part, I was living a moneyless existence because I was he was bartering and getting food from Food Not Bombs and the wonderful bread in San Francisco. San Francisco has the best bread in the world. I haven't traveled the world, so I can't say that. But as far as where I've been in the United States, the fresh bread in San Francisco, their sourdough, oh gee. And the bagels I've gotten there rival what you can get in New York City, and even Ginsberg's Bakery here. It has really wonderful bagels. You know who has bagels that suck? Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts bagels, it's like they're made of bread. They're spongy. They're soft. Bagels should not be soft. They should not be like donuts. So no, save yourself the bagels. Maybe after they're toasted. Like there's some people that put on a breakfast here in town. They're the sisters that I don't go to anymore, and they get donuts and things from Dunkin' Donuts, and they toast the bagels and everything. Bagels toasted with a jalapeno bagels. You ever had a jalapeno bagel? They are so good. You put butter on them. Oh, they are so good. But I haven't been to the sisters for breakfast ever since that time in the hottest day of the summer when I showed up there with a bare midriff and I had a six pack. I had every right to do it. A 96-degree, no air conditioning day, and nobody was rude to me, but just the feeling. And then they offered me this real pretty turquoise shirt with a covered stripes on, and I gladly took it, but of course I didn't put it on because I was sweaty with sweat and greasy with sunblock, and you don't put fabric on wet skin. Everybody knows that. But I never forgot the looks on their faces and that feeling, and I haven't been back there since. It was just Jesus wouldn't have treated Mary Magdalene, and they treated me. Guy back here smoking weed. Smells good. I'm sure I could get a light for him and I could smoke some of this bowl, but you know what? It doesn't matter that much to me. Maybe one of my friends will show up and I'll ask him if he has a light and I'll spark some up. Oh, it is 3:04 p.m. We are now officially, we are the day and hour Mercury. Oh, allow me to feel the tinglies and happiness for this right now. But I haven't forgotten we're actually supposed to be talking about uh, oh God, I'm having a Joe Biden moment. Portland. People who sometimes go to San Francisco also like Portland. And then if they're lucky, they get up to Seattle, which I never got to do yet. And now I wouldn't want to either because a lot of that libtard shit. Any place that has no-go zones and Antifa is controlling and BLM, and you got to give the salutes. No, I'm not putting up with that. They beat up Trumpers. No, not going to deal with that. Not going to deal with that. So, but getting back to my connection with Portland. So this guy I knew from Hollywood, he ended up moving to San Francisco, and he had this girlfriend who was dominatrix, and she was cool. She was the first person that I ever met who actually had a therapist. She was a really interesting chick. And she was the kind of dominatrix that actually had to see men naked and tie them up and just had some slave kind of relationships with these guys. And she was really interesting. She told me about how she first got into it. They make you apprentice as a sub first so you know what you're dishing out. There's all these things that you can get trained at these houses where they have people go for whips and chain stuff. And there's this place in the San Fernando Valley, Los Angeles. I can't remember the name of it or the town, whether it was in Chatsworth or oh, it was in the San Fernando Valley, and I wish I could remember. But anyway, this girl was really interesting. And so my friend, his name is Cheerios. I'll even drop his name. Hey, Cheerios, if you ever find my videos, how the hell are you? I hope they're still alive. So him and his girlfriend, I don't remember her name, they ended up going to San Francisco, and then they ended up moving to Portland. And they said, hey, Leather, do you want to go with us back to Portland? Because they actually had acquired a car that I didn't realize stolen until after. It was a generic white Honda Civic. Before they had the sports car looking Honda Civics. Do you know Honda Civic has a sports car that, even by my standards, really easy on the eyes? I have very seldom do I see a car that catches my eye and rocks my socks because I like beautiful lines. I love sports car detailing. I like sculptural beauty. I don't care for these ugly boxes that a lot of modern cars are, or these sneaker looking cars. I love Corvettes. My Dodge Daytona Turbo Z that only had 1 year, and I guess it must not have been any good of a car because you never hear about them. But I lately seen what I think might be a Dodge Charger that has looks that evoke me of that. But anyway, these guys had this white car and he came to Hollywood and they got me and they took me, or no, they came to San Francisco and they took me to Portland because I was living in San Francisco at the time, and I was largely living in San Francisco. I was largely living either camped out or squatting, or I camped out with these gay men that I loved so dearly that they hung out in City Hall Park, which there's City Hall Park, and then there's the City Hall, and across the park there was the library. But then the library ended up relocating, and that became the American Indian Library. And there was a ground, and I hung out when I actually got to camp at night. We camped near the Opera House. And one time somebody got sushi, and we all have sleeping bags, and me and all these gay guys. There's passing out salmon sushi with tiny little slivers of lemon on them. And this was sushi had been sitting out a while. Okay, you think a girl taking a chance. Well, guess what? We're okay. I'm okay. Never felt any stomach upset, whatever. That was a high class crowd. I don't think they're going to give you warmy sushi at the Apple. And it was a full moon night, and we were eating sushi under the stars. There was when you're sleeping under the stars in Market Street, like United Nations Plaza, you got to understand. Market Street goes diagonally through San Francisco, right? And you look at these rooftops, and some of them, they're not, the buildings aren't too high. They're maybe 10, 12 stories. And the roof has like smaller, pointy area that's lit up, like maybe it's somebody's nice penthouse. Maybe they got a little garden area or whatever. Maybe they might even have a restaurant there or something. Who knows? Or maybe it's an art gallery. Sometimes it's an art gallery. This is around Market and 7th, between Market and 6th and Market and 7th. Okay, United Nations Plaza, when I was there, was a fountain with two piles of slabs of concrete that you could climb on and you could camp out on. And oh, it was just so awesome and beautiful. The food not bombs would drop off bagels and all kinds of wonderful bread and sourdough bread. I love. Oh, didn't need butter, which who had butter. And food not bombs, everything is totally vegan. So like their soups are so wonderful, especially the squash soup, the soup with the broccoli. Oh, man, the secret to that is you don't cook it till it stinks. You cook it just so it tastes good. Because like even if you're cooking chicken soup with the bones, for a while it smells good, but you get to a point where it doesn't smell good anymore. That's the only thing. That's my experience. I've been making soup for years. But yeah, you got people dropping off. They're serving the soup there, bagels right there, and you have people dropping off burritos. You have people dropping off socks. It was, while it lasted, it was really wonderful. But one of the things I used to love to do is write poetry and look up at the stars, which you often didn't see really because the fog would roll in. It's very damp, very chilly. San Francisco is a very damp, very chilly place. That fog rolls in, and it just, oh, it's like you're surrounded by this cloud, which you are. And so you really didn't see stars, but you could see the rooftops of these buildings that weren't all that tall. And occasionally, if you got a squat with homes, not jails, you got a really beautiful building to squat in. One of the squats I was in had been an architecture firm. So the carpets were clean, and I still have a color wheel. It's a poster, has a big color wheel on it that was my souvenir from that place. I love rainbows and I love spectrums and I love color wheels. And it just, the place had hot and cold running water. The place had flushing toilets. The place had a refrigerator. I mean, and if you don't tell every Tom, Dick, and Tramp that's going to fuck up the place, and I didn't tell anybody, and it was clean, and it was safe, and I had a key that went in the door, and it had those really wonderful lamps. They have the dome-shaped cover on it in the brown light, and the slanted tabletops that you can do your design or whatever. But anyway, it was just great. I don't know how many months I had out, but it was wonderful. But when my friends Cheerio and his girlfriend took me up to Portland for a week, and my observation with it is they don't have state sales tax. That's groovy. And also, they don't allow you to pump your own gas. So Oregon, like New Jersey, are the two states in the union that do not allow you to pump your gas. And that was wonderful. I thought it was funny. Also, they had a dollar store. They had a place it was a movie theater it was 99-cent movie theater. They had sold 99-cent pizza slices. Well, I don't eat cheese, so pizza is of no use to me. And I don't like beer because I never liked the taste of beer, even when I drank. So, but still, that's a bargain, $1 for a movie and a beer, or, and pizza and stuff like that. And also, there was a bridge called Congress Avenue. I think that a lot of homeless people slept under and hung out in, and I knew and befriended a lot of rail trams, people that rode freight trains, and they would have these real wonderful steel frame backpack. I swear by steel frame backpack. That's what I had when I lived in San Francisco, and I love them because they're so comfortable and they hold a lot of stuff. And you could put your bedroll, strap it underneath, bunchy it stuff. And I have one now, courtesy of a friend. Hello, Debbie. Thank you for that. When I do finally get out to LA to deal with my storage, I'm going to be using that steel frame back. I never did get to ride any freight trains, but just as well, because I was told in Phoenix, Arizona, in Tempe, Arizona, by a rail tramp, don't chance it because FTRA, that's Freight Train Riders of America, it's a gang, and they will murder and they will rape and they rob. And being a female, I don't want to be vulnerable to those things, so they talked me out of it. But anyway, I got a week to spend in Portland. And the weed was so good. The weed was so good. And there were places where like outdoor soup kitchens where you could eat. And there also was a little bus route that was totally free. If you lived in the neighborhood, it was free to get on. And I thought that was great. Now, this was in the year like 1998. I was there. The last time I was in San Francisco, there was in year 2000. And the last time I was in Los Angeles was 2006. I got my belly pierced in 2005 in New Hollywood. But I got my nose pierced in San Francisco. So, and San Francisco is a great place to get body piercing done, especially if you go to a reliable shop. And I got pierced by the apprentice to the Fakir Musafa, who, if you're familiar with Body Modifications magazine, he went to Aboriginal areas and met with many people in cultures who stuck bones in their body and did all kinds of tribal things. And he is a very learned, skilled person who got into piercing for spirituality and honor of culture and so many reasons. And yeah, if you ever get a chance to look at a magazine called Modern Primitives, it's all about body piercing and stuff. And this came out in the middle 80s, I think. But anyway, that's the person who I had pierced my nose, and I don't regret it at all. I'm going to take a look at the uh, power thing on there. It's right now. It's 3:16 p.m. It is 33% remaining. Oh, wait, battery status 33% remaining. 47 minutes to go, unless I plug in. Now, trying to think of where I have my cable with me. I can probably see. I don't know. I'm trying to think of where the next electrical outlet is. I'm afraid if I get to an outlet that's too close to that music, that's going to get me in trouble with copyright things. Okay, I'm looking at things up here. Scuff Frank says, speaking of Mercury, you guys play with Quicksilver as a kid too. Okay, and then 666 says only when a thermometer broke. I remember broken thermometers, and yes, playing within my hands before I learned it was poisonous. I thought it was fascinating how it moved around and stuff. I absolutely did, and I was so bummed out to learn that it was poisonous. And I remember the bottle. I think I had for a while a bottle that had a stopper on it. They had it in it that I could have used when I wanted to invoke Mercury. Now I think a lot of times people just use something like this, or they use seal of demons, and by demon I don't mean Daemon. I mean Daemon. Some people might not differentiate, but entities associated with, like, there's a book that has sigils. Actually, I would recommend a book called Modern Magic by Donald Michael Craig. I believe Donald Michael Craig died of cancer. I actually had him autograph the book at a Pagan Pride in West Hollywood, California in the late 90s. That man, I could feel the energy off of him. He was a powerful witch. He was like, oh, and honorable and decent and kind. And cancer is a cancer's a and anyway, because we through the internet, the magic of the internet. Actually, how I found out about it, I believe, was the last time I went to the Magical Child in New York City. That is it was a physical brick and mortar occult shop that was run by Herman Slater, who I never had the privilege of meeting because he got AIDS and he died. And, I only got up to New York City when I was on Christmas vacations, generally because, I mean, I'm certainly not going to get to New York directly from Los Angeles or San Francisco because I don't fly and taking a bus. Why wouldn't I stop in Atlantic City first? And, if somebody who I knew lived in New York City said, "Here, mother, you got floor space, you could stay with me," that'd be a different story. But rents are so extremely high and everybody's working so many jobs and they don't cook at home because nobody has space in their kitchens if they have one, so they go eat out and everything's so expensive and just society is so expensive and life is so expensive. And then maybe they're doing a volunteer thing, and if you have a dog, you got a dog. And oh, New York City is just wow. And the people that I know that live there, they are so busy. And like if you're working independently, like I have a friend who is an art model, and she's going to Staten Island, and she's going to Art Students League, and she's going to the different boroughs. And she had lived in uh, Brooklyn, and she had lived in the Hasidic community where you have to wear your skirts full length and you can't show your shoulders or your arms. And but she didn't have any problem because she just kind of modest anyway. But she is makes her living as a working model. But a couple of times, well, one time I went to celebrate my birthday in New York City, and she was working most of the day. She met up with me briefly. We had Chinese food, and a couple hours later, I met up with her, but just people can't make time for you when they have jobs that they have to, it'd be like, say, I had a strip joint job that every hour or every 2 hours, I would go out on stage for a half hour, 45 minutes, right? I have a schedule. That means I have to be there every couple hours. So if I'm going to meet up with somebody or I'm going to go shopping, for instance, I have to keep close eye on a time because if you're late, somebody's got to either stall for you or the guys at the turnstile got to put another movie on or whatever. You can't fuck up. Usually they just put another dancer on that happens to be, and you can't do that to people. You have to be there when it's your time, your show time. So I can understand people not having time to stop what they're doing just because I show up in town. New York City, one of these towns, it's really hard to be let in. You have to prove how much you want it. And it costs, it's not just about the money. It's like finding a place to live and going through that and all the palms you have to grease to find a place. And people get real estate agents for rentals now. And people older than me go and get mortgages because, and they reason you're going to pay the rent anyway. And I'm thinking, I hope we all get 30 more years to live, I mean, 50 years, or, hell, I want to live forever, right? But realistically speaking, nobody's been able to do this. So, but like my friend Paul says, you got to pay the rent anyway. So, meanwhile, but if you want to have room, maybe you got to get off the island. So there's Astoria and there's all these outer places, but you got to fight and prove your way in with New York. It's not like your friends are going to be like, oh, yeah, you can have floor space for 2 weeks. Maybe you get work here. Oh, they've been playing lame. Oh, I don't want a copyright strike, but oh, she got a baby. Look, see, she got a baby. Well, I don't want to violate his privacy, but right now behind me is Derek and the Dominoes. Layla, I hope I don't get in trouble for this. Who has never played the piano, the background of this, and tried to figure this out when you were a kid. When I would go to my grandparents' house, my grandma had this upright piano, and I would try to figure out the end of this, and I never did. I mean, I was a little because by the time I was 16, I was working at it's now called Boardwalk Hall, and I couldn't go spend summers or the month of August in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where my grandparents lived. But my aunts and uncles, they exposed me to so much great classic rock music in addition to the great music that is already on AM radio. They exposed me to Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Eric Clapton, all that hippie shit. And then my first guitar chords was the easy stuff by Cat Stevens, okay, and even Peter, Paul, and Mary. You know, Hoot Nanny stuff with the easy chords when you're first learning to play guitar. You know, and my mom and I, we used to harmonize washing and drying dishes. My mom would do the washing and I would do the drying. Good afternoon. Beautiful day, huh? Isn't it a beautiful day? It is according to my computer. Oh, it's not even showing the um temperature. It's showing financial information. And I'm down to 27% remaining, 37 minutes. See where the plug-in is, but I can't forget about actually where my bags are. They're over there. See where there's a plug around here. I don't want to lose a signal. Let's see. There is. Now it should be even stronger because I'm right up against the Tropicana. Here, there's. Oh no, that's a water thing. You know, it's on the other side of the pizza thing. I think there's a plug-in. But when I hit the boardwalk to go down that way, I'm afraid the signal's gonna turn it off. I thought they used to have an electric thing here. Oh, oh, please don't give me a copyright strike for this. They might shut this down. I'm gonna have to download it as soon as I go home. Eric Clapton. See, I like classic rock. Oh, how fast they go, man. I bet that was over 50 miles an hour. What do you think? And they have signs saying if you're using these motorized things, don't go so fast. Okay, I'm gonna get in trouble. I love the long versions of things. If you were lucky, they played the whole thing, the album cuts on radio. And you know what was great about growing up and going to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for summers? They had great radio. They had great classic rock station, WZZD, that played Journey and even Queensryche. I got their EP, Queen of the Reich, and I got all that vinyl in my storage in LA. I gotta go out there. Oh, hey, Scuff Frank, I'm glad to see you here. Um, 666 says I remember some Quicksilver got in the carpet once, and Mom was super pissed. Phoenix Princess, hi. Says I hope you're having a good day. Just stopping by to say hi. I'm having a great day. It is so beautiful. I'm. I hope the sunblock is protecting me. Um, you say dump fell off. Dump packing on the pounds for winter. Hey, I have to give. I think I told my mom not to make me a birthday cake this year. Um, even though I don't know if I'm just. I have been. See, I've been having this year. I've had access to a free food source, and when you go there, they give you sweets first, and they give you two, and then after everybody's been served, they let you go back in there. And my excuse is, well, I got two other people I live with, plus all the people that hang out across the street, and I like to take things to the boardwalk for my friends sometimes. But you know what? A lot of times there's things that I end up eating. And I'm thinking, oh, I have a metabolism. I can get away with it. It doesn't affect me. Sugar doesn't affect me. Starches don't affect me. I could shovel this crap in. Oh, Pumpkin pie, I could eat the whole thing. Blackberry pie, cherry pie, I could eat the whole thing. Chocolate cake, oh, I could eat the whole thing. I'm immune. I have the fast metabolism. I can never put on weight. I can never get a belly. I'm gonna tell you, guess what? Even I am not immune. I took a look at myself in the mirror. I looked at my stomach. I was like, oh my God. I let myself go. I fucked up. I look like I'm expecting twins. And it's 6 months along. I'm so disgusted with myself. You guys don't. You know, you notice that I haven't been wearing the beer midriff stuff like I usually do, even around the house, even on the hot days. It's because I'm really pissed off at myself. Um, am I not connected or what? Because I'm getting a thing saying I'm not connected here. And obstructing the chat room thing. Can you guys still hear me? Say something if you could still hear me, because I just got something saying that I had a chance to connect, and I thought I was connected to the Tropicana Wi-Fi. Um, okay, Chandelier says I was having a convo with a fellow Oregonian and dumb freaked out. Yes. And 666 says I stopped watching when he wouldn't shut up about the storage unit feud back in New Orleans, and that was months ago. And then Shanda says, I remember that too, 6. And Stuff Strike says, the dump was, we all know, is gone. He did seem angry the last time I heard him talking about things. He was talking about the Creme Street Mafia and stuff, and or whatever their name is and stuff. And I would have liked to have gone out there, but you know what? This is not the time that I can really realistically travel right now. Hayden Fisher says, Leather, I watch a lot of your videos. Really odd, but I live in England. Don't know how I found you. You give a very interesting perspective. Just out of interest, what do you do for work? What I do for work, well, I was playing guitar right here on the boardwalk, and I prefer to be places that was quiet so people could hear me and where I was safe, and preferably close to where I live so that if somebody's hassling me or if we get a thunderstorm, I can run home. This would be my preferred area, like a block away, where I could still get this Wi-Fi signal. I can live stream. I could talk like I'm talking to you now. But the cops started giving me warnings. They chased me off of a Hard Rock Cafe, Hard Rock Casino after my fourth day here on the boardwalk with that guitar. They chased me off the Hard Rock. Then I was in front of Ocean, way up there, and it's real windy up there, okay? And if shit were to happen, I would have to book it to come down here. Then I was in front of Boardwalk Hall. I really liked it there, but occasionally some homeless drunk people would get really, really violently noisy, and it was just not quiet enough for me to be heard over an acoustic guitar without strumming my strings so hard they'd break. So then I discovered, why don't I go close to here? But you can't be right in front of Chickies and Pete's because there's too much the music from there. And we have another thing you don't hear right now, but normally you see these signs here. They have a light show and sound advertisement and a couple of videos, and it's kind of loud. So that would bleed into your video. Also, do you see the screen? Point these to your attention. In order to have Wi-Fi for the boardwalk itself, they have these kiosks. They have screens that have advertising on them and sound snippets, and they're very annoying. And you can't be too close to them when you're filming because they will totally, you think you're quiet and you're talking, and all of a sudden, it's real loud. And plus, if there's a song snippet, you could get a copyright thing. So, as a YouTuber, I'm limited in the places I can go, both to play guitar and to have a signal. So I wanted to be a block away over there, and the cops messed with me a couple of months ago when my mother was in the hospital, and I actually had time to go out there. I figure I can't be taking care of her. See, I'm my mother's full-time caregiver, but I'm not getting paid for that. You know, she's my mother, and I'm going to take care of her because, what, I want a stranger to take care of my mother? No. And plus, it's keeping me off the street, too. I won't lie. Yeah. Oh, by the way, you're in England. I'm of English ancestry. Matter of fact, I don't know this. I'm not trying to impress anybody or nothing, but I have been American before there was such a thing as America. I've been In the United States, my family, since the early 1600s, on those whatever early ship, my grandma did our family tree, and she was part of Daughters of the American Revolution. So I have connection to England. So I love it when people from England find me. But to again answer your question about what my livelihood is, I had been playing guitar, but cops showed up for something unrelated, had a supervisor with them. Next thing you know, they told me pick up my hat, pick up my clapboard, and they said they wanted me to choose to get off the boardwalk. And they told me this cop told me if he saw me again, he would fine me $1,000. They have been fining people left and right for things. If you fall asleep, you get a $300 ticket. No, you don't want to pay a fine like that. So you got to think, oh, I'd be willing to do time served. But you don't want to do that because that's how you start a criminal record. I don't want a record. I have a totally clean record. I've never even gotten a jaywalking ticket. You don't want that because some cities will ticket you for that. Los Angeles, California, they will seriously ticket for jaywalking. You don't want it. So I pride myself in keeping my lows clean. The only time I ever got really in trouble with the law was I did get in trouble for a demonstration in San Francisco for performing a poem and writing my name in chalk. But they dropped the charges, and once the charges are dropped, it wasn't like they hold you and they have you in the holding thing for like 3 hours chained to a bench, which is really nothing. But I still kind of was a little sad about it. Maybe I may have cried a little bit, but they Polaroid you. But they're really nice people, and I had 2 hits of what I thought was ecstasy, but it turned out that it was really sweet and low. I bought off a farmer, and I phoned him to a friend before the cops said, "Can we talk to you?" And click click were the bracelets, and this was the one time I had a police encounter of that nature, and it was at a political demonstration for Food Not Bombs. It was with Food Not Bombs in San Francisco, but this was in the 90s. And now, if I'm going to get caught for anything, it's like I'm supposed to be in January 6th, okay? But because we didn't have the vaccine yet, and I couldn't risk it, my mom exposed to the vaccine, I mean the virus, I had a ride and everything for Washington. And if I'd gone, I'd be in prison right now. And because I was going to bring my computer and I was going to go in and they were going to let me in the Capitol and I was going to bring my laptop and say, "Hey, welcome to the Capitol." You see, that's Nancy Pelosi's gavel. But I wouldn't have done anything stupid, but I'd be in jail because you see how they treat. Okay, I got the battery saver thing on. I need to go and try to find a place to plug in, okay? Now, cross your fingers that I will get that I won't lose a signal. If I lose a signal, okay, I'll go right back on. So come back on with me, all right? I got it. It's funny when battery saver mode goes on, the whole thing vibrates. Oh my god. Cable. Might as well not put that away since I'm gonna need it. Oh. All right. Follow me. Oh, let's see what that song is. Oh, now I'm getting a cramp on my foot. Oh, dude, I'm getting all these cramps. It's just in the ball of my foot. But all I have to do is press. I don't know what this is. You know what this is? I have no idea, but I love it. But you know what? I don't want to copyright strike. If any of you guys know what it is, they play really good music there. Okay, now let me see. Maybe there's a plug in here. Oh, fingers crossed. You know what? Oops. Ooh, I dropped my bag. And of course, I'm wearing a real little mini dress, right? Okay, I think I could plug in next to the Starbucks. Let's, oh no, that's just a thermostat. Oh, now we got some country music. Dude, they covered up the electric. I used to come here late at night and they're used. Oh, there's one right here. Okay, okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. Closed, so they're not gonna yell. Oh, after you. Now this is not gonna fit all the way over there. I'm gonna probably have to put this on the ground. The worst that can happen is somebody might yell at me. Am I still broadcasting? So anyway, I had the guitar thing. I do it now. I take surveys on the internet. I was just talking about digital reflections, that set box thing. They paid me $5 a month to keep the thing plugged in, right? And I was very happy to at least have that. Um, I had that, and every 3 months they would give me an additional $20 of for perfect attendance, so to speak, because I kept the thing plugged in, right? But lately, this past couple of months, the thing sometimes flickers on and off. And the thing is, it's in my mother's bedroom. Nobody touches it. It doesn't tell them anything. It stays plugged in to the wireless router. And it was giving a little bit of hassle when I was going to New York City, because they email you when there's problems. Anyway, I can't get it to work, and so they kicked me off the panel. So now I lost an income, pissed off. So anyway, I have not been playing guitar, so I have been growing my nails, and I will show you what I look like with fingernails. I thought that I had met somebody who wanted pictures of my hands and was going to give me some remuneration. And I was actually, unfortunately, I just broke this finger the other day. I don't have the finger, excuse me, the fingernail. And it was splitting, and I didn't have, I thought it crazy glue doesn't not do a very good job of nail repair because the pressure that you put on nails, it breaks anyway, and it keeps on building like a thick thing on the nail, and it's not pleasant. And plus, if it doesn't dry all the way, it can get caught in the hair. And I'm very afraid of snagging my hair. And that's another thing I kind of wanted to mention is, first of all, my birthday's coming up. Second of all, I really need to undo my hair. And that's going to be a process because it's very matted, very tangled, very dreaded up in the back. And it's probably going to take close to 2 weeks to undo. If I'm lucky, it might take a week. I don't know. I'm trying to neaten these things up so I don't, I bet I can put this underneath my computer. I hope I don't get in trouble for that. Country music, I hope I don't, nobody hears that. Uh, but anyway, I was going to polish my nails and I was going to take some pictures, but I have not heard from the person, and supposedly they know of my channel and they can watch me at any time. And I'm not going to say the name of the person, but if they get a hold of me before any more of my nails break, if we're going to do this, let me know, because I have been letting my nails grow, and it's kind of weird trying to type with fingernails. And obviously, I can't play guitar with long nails, but the cops won't let me play guitar anyway. And if I'm not making money on it, I can't see doing it. Plus, I have to take my hair out. I'm gonna put this on the edge of this chair. Okay, so I want to show you the back of my hair. And I'll actually sit on the chair to do it. Can you see the back of my head? I'm gonna have to take the hair out, starting, take this, and hopefully it's not going to be tangled up in the rubber bands too much. Then I'm going to have to, probably with the aid of a special kind of comb, or even a safety pin or a push pin in the very beginning, the very ends of the braids, is so fine. You stick a pin in and you loosen it up and you go up. It saves time. But once it gets up here, it's going to be very tangled. And I'm going to start with the back first. I already had beads come out last week, so um, I was thinking of maybe undoing it on camera. I actually brought an extra bag with me, thinking I would do it out tonight, or today here during this live stream. But now I decided I don't want to do that. First of all, I don't think I would avoid attracting too much attention here in the casino, and I really don't want to do that because I'm pretty sure that nobody knows that I'm live streaming from here. And for all I know, somebody might complain, and I don't want problems. And I also don't want in trouble for the music in the background. Can you guys hear the music in the background, by the way? Because one of the things that they drum into us as YouTubers is avoiding copyright strikes. And whenever I'm outside and it's close to a casino bar, beach bar or something, or those t-shirt shops, they are very, very loud. And I do my best to avoid music. But then I know some people that would live stream with music in their radios, like Dumpstar. He got away with music in the background all the time. And I would tell him that it was actually breaking the rules, and he would just act like he didn't care, or like rules didn't apply to him. And that's one of my beefs with other musicians and other YouTubers, is that when, if I'm forced and intimidated into obeying the rule, and if the consequences for the rule is getting banned from YouTube or getting arrested because of my guitar playing, well, then I'll feel I have no choice but to obey the rules. So then when I see other people getting away with doing what I want to do, and there are no consequences for what they're doing, it pisses me off. And there is going to be, the next video that I post is going to be about this very subject, by the way, the video that I'm posting tomorrow. And that the creation of that video, I'm going to give you the backstory behind it, is there have been times in my life when I felt that it was at a crossroads in a relationship with a friend, where there was something about me that they found distasteful. In this case, it's the metaphysics, especially when you're dealing with people that are anti-magic, like some of these born again Christians that think everything is double and satanic and stuff. And this guy's a real Bible thumper and stuff. And he's somebody that wanted to be on my channel. And we've been talking about this for a couple of years, and he's an interesting person. I'm thinking, why not? But then he saw the pentagram, whatever, didn't like that. But I saw him hanging out, posing for pictures in one of the spots, the first spot where I was playing guitar when I got the guitar a couple of years ago, okay? Right in front of Hard Rock, that spot, right in front of one of the posts that supports, like right where the concrete ends and the boardwalk starts, where technically the casino property ends and the boardwalk is. But security is so bad now. All that area is under camera surveillance. They can see from inside there. And if you're anywhere within a quarter of a football field length, I'm guessing, and you're loitering in front of there, even if you're talking to a friend, if you're not headed directly into the casino or something, they make you move on. So I see him standing right there where I used to play guitar, posing for pictures, getting tips. Everybody loves him because he embodies something that He's like, iconic. He's already something that everybody likes. Okay, I don't want to give it away. But there he is making coin on this very boardwalk that basically the cops kicked me off. And so, you know what? I hate coming on this boardwalk anymore because I still see some of my friends on it, and most of them are finding a way to make coin. Whether they're begging by still, like there's this one guy I know, this junkie guy. He stands right at one of the entrances to this casino, and he just opens the door for people. He does that all afternoon, and he hopes somebody gives him some money, and he must have, you know, and I know this sounds really sick to say, to admit, but sometimes I look at these people and I almost envy them. I'm thinking, and why would I envy a junkie that's opening door after door after door in hopes that somebody will give him a dollar? But the reason why I am is because the cops deprived me of my livelihood. And when they told me that even if I got the damn mercantile license, I would have to go clear up my resorts. You know how far up away that is? That's a good 3 mile walk. It's noisy up there. It's everybody sitting with their signs saying homeless, hungry, needs help. There's no quiet up there. It's if I needed to get here in an emergency, get home fast, I couldn't do it. Probably slip and fall and drop my computer and guitar. And I still don't have a case for my dreadnought guitar. And water and guitars don't mix. So the cops really, when they started, the last time I had a run-in with them, because I had a number of warnings, and you can only have so many warnings before they issue you tickets. There is a real war on the poor and the homeless and any characters in this town. And Atlantic City has had a history of people on the boardwalk, jugglers, performers, uh, since the 20s and earlier. Of course, my mom has, they all had permits. I doubt it. I really doubt they had permits in the 1920s when Nucky Johnson was running things. I think that there was a lot of people in the shadows doing things, or maybe people did pay off things. Maybe in a way, it's no different than paying for a permit because you're still bribing somebody. It's spending upwards of $300 on a permit, getting fingerprinted, background check, paying for insurance to indemnify the city. How is that different than being shaken down by the mob so that they don't burn your business down? It's the same damn thing. The only thing is it's the government that's shaking you down. And this, let me tell you, our government right now is so fucking corrupt. The mayor's a scumbag. His wife's a scumbag. You're indicted. Oh, but what? What happened? Whenever something happens to a child, right away, hello, I thought that was the be all and end all, but right away you protect the child and justice is served. But no, what the fuck douchebagging is going on in this town? And then, people who I know personally that live in some of the senior disabled high rises in the city that have had some problems. And you want to get maintenance to fix something, or maybe it'd be nice if security was actually at the booth to keep dirt bags from accessing the building, so you don't have home invasions. I don't know if that's a thing here, but still, security should be on the post. And if you dare talk about these things, well, whistleblowers, sometimes they are not treated well. And maybe things are getting a little bit better now. I don't know, but anyway, this is the sort of thing that's going on. And I don't dare go to any of the city meetings because number one, I don't want to target them myself. Number two, some of my enemies go to these meetings, like the cop, not the cop, excuse me, the pastor of the church from hell downstairs. That's I hope he doesn't buy the fucking building, man. Can you imagine the pastor who also happens to be the Atlantic City Police Department chaplain, hates us so badly. He accused me of urinating out the window. How the hell am I going to do that? I'm a girl. He's used to dealing with crazies, crackheads, junkies, drunks, beggars, all kinds of things, ex-cons. I was told by the first landlord we had here where I'm living that we're the first white Anglo-Saxon family ever to live in this building. I don't know. It's been interesting. So anyway, yeah, I am self-employed. I would be willing to make custom cat videos. Seen my cat. One time when I was in Hollywood, I knew a lady who did foot videos, and I did a video with her that involved, it didn't show my face, and I was wearing pantyhose, okay? And I took my shoe off and I actually put my feet where tailpipe of a sports car was, and she revved the engine, and I put my foot in front of the tailpipe, and some guy bought custom videos for her involving feet, and I got paid $500 for that. And this was in the late '90s. Okay, so I mean, stuff like that is totally innocuous. You know, it's not pornography, and wouldn't get you prevented from getting a respectable job if you actually got one land in your lap. You know, because I wouldn't mind having a gig where I needed a security clearance or something. But if it's something where I have to sign a morals clause, hell, I was a stripper before. And if you're gonna think that I'm immoral for that, well then fuck you. You know, I don't want to take work where I can't be who I am. I don't want to take work where I have to look normal. But I need to undo my braids. I need to bleach out my roots. I want to redo my purple, and I want to do it before my birthday. And I'm afraid of giving out the exact day of my birthday because of identity theft and stuff. Even though all you have to do is look at my channel and see when it was last year, and you can figure that out. Or the other election day that I just told you right now. But please don't say it now you know it. But anyway, it's about today's what, the 23rd of October. Um, my birthday is in between Halloween and election day. Uh, Another thing I want to mention to you is I have a jury duty coming up on the 28th. So the day after the Trump rally, I got a jury duty thing. And I already did the check-in on the internet. They make you watch this orientation video. And the thing is, I would kind of like to reschedule it, but the thing is, usually in Los Angeles, I try to get out of it because I'm on call as an actor, and the money you stand to make as an actor, you don't want to miss out on by doing the jury duty thing. Plus, now you get after the third or fourth day, they have to give you $5. Then after that, the state of New Jersey says they have to give you $35 a day, but it's paid by check. I can't cash checks because I don't have any photo ID. And please don't argue with me, anybody, about why I don't have ID. I don't. And that's all there is to it. Please. I didn't swim across the border. I am an American citizen. That's all you need to know. But anyway, bottom line, it would be a real inconvenience if I had to do jury duty this close to my birthday. Plus, I would have to probably be wearing business attire for that. And when I did, the last time I had a jury duty summons, it was for May's Landing. And I actually wanted to get picked for that jury. And I dressed in a business suit and tie and all that bullshit and carried a briefcase. And but I didn't get picked. And but this time around, I would really prefer not to do this because it's so close to my birthday and I'm still trying to make plans. If I can get a free into one of the Chicago concerts, that would be great. They're playing at either Ocean or they're somewhere on the boardwalk. Lenny Kravitz is playing Ocean. I can walk to them and I could stand around and try to get in, like I got to see the Who one time at Boardwalk Hall. And I figure I'll be dressed up in one of my party dresses or something. And if I get in, great. If I don't, at least I tried, right? But so far, that's the only idea I have. Um, Somebody I know who's homeless was talking about getting a hotel room, but I'm having some second thoughts about that because sometimes people get their hopes up, if you get my drift, and I don't want awkward situations. Even though if it had Wi-Fi, I could have a fun live stream. Is this music getting a little loud? Am I gonna get in trouble? Phoenix Princess, when you leaving? Everybody have an amazing day. Um, okay, let's see. I'm reading the rest of these things. Okay. 666 is still speaking on. Uh, okay. Chandelier, you just retracted a message before I got to see it. Chandelier SP. Ozu Jordan said, I just started watching this guy's videos. They see like Alex Jones or something. Um, Shanda says, "Hey, Leather, I grew 4 huge plants this year. I wish you were closer. I'd give you some." Oh, um, one of my friends who gardens in the garden, all he grows is dirtweed, man. It's the worst fucking weed. You gotta have good seeds to grow good weed, and if it's a kind of weed where you have to watch your light and dark cycles, that's really complicated. I think it's easier if you don't have to worry about the cycles. And then once you pick your plants and harvest them, you gotta cure them and somehow be able to monitor the humidity in the jar. And I don't know how much that equipment costs. And you can't just hang it upside down in a paper bag in your closet to forget about it. And then all of a sudden, oh, I got some buds, and you smoke it and they're garbage. And there's so much great neat garbage going around, man. And I've never been to any of the dispensaries here in town. There are so many dispensaries now, but they all require you to show photo ID to go in. It's like, dude, I'm not going to a gun range. By the way, I believe in the Second Amendment. I'm in Jersey, so that don't mean shit when you're a civilian. Oh, good. I'm still streamlined. 666 says you are mining Bitcoin basically for free for someone. 666. Wish I could break into hand modeling. Seems like a saturated market. Oh, good. Music can't be heard. There should be issue. Yeah. No, actually, you don't have to be monetized to get a copyright strike. Like, okay, whenever I am on the boardwalk and there's a beach concert, and like when Fish was in town and I was filming, I got a copyright notice, but it wasn't a strike. It was a notice saying that they knew, the owners of the copyright knew that I had their music in the background, but it was YouTube and they allowed it. There's a difference between being at a concert and playing the record in your house, apparently. And if they wanted to be an asshole, they could have made me take it down, but they didn't. Um, oh, oh, your phone's almost dead. So let's see. Well, thank you for stopping in. I really enjoy going live, and I like to be places that are interesting. Mm. Okay, I'm at 46% battery. I really don't want to leave here until I have it charged for. But so I'll have to go someplace else to start taking the beads out. I was thinking of maybe using the garden because my home Wi-Fi extends to the garden, but I don't like to go garden now because of all the dog pies. You know, the dog likes me and all that, but they got he's slow on cleaning up after his dog. And I don't want to step in the stuff, you know. But it's 4:01 now, so we're no longer in the hour of Mercury. Oh, I wanted to show something else. This is was given to me by a friend. These are for the chakras, and these are all semi-precious stones that I believe it includes clear quartz and amethyst, and I'm not sure what all the others are, but I'm gonna have to maybe look in one of my stone books or ask somebody in a cult shop or something. There's a Botanica that's here in town, that's in Ducktown on Arctic Avenue that I've never been to, that I'd really like to go in and look at their candles and things. Of course, I noticed that Timu, you can buy candles in all these different colors that you can use for, you know, any candle lighting purposes. But I'm always looking for what's really a good deal. But I have enough hair dye and I have enough peroxide so that when I undo my hair, I want to make a couple of videos. T Dodge, hey, um, thank you for tuning in. This is inside the Tropicana casino. This is what they call the not the quarter. This is called the marketplace, and it starts with oh, they've opened up now. It starts with Starbucks, and then that's Firewater's Saloon, and then you've got a series of places like Going Nuts, and then you've got this coffee shop. Thank you. Well, I don't want to say uh, anything more about the coffee shop except I can't drink my coffee without sweeteners. Then there's Casa Tequila and bar and Mexican restaurant. Then there's the Hooters. Then there's the casino. So, but I am so glad that I found a power source, and I know that the landlord is gone from my house now, and I have things covered up, and I hope he doesn't give attitude about that frame for the shelves that's in front of one of the entrances. But like I told my mother to tell him, the only person that uses that entrance is myself, because my mother does not go up and down the stairs. It's really hard for her to huff and puff and stuff. And, with her shortness of breath, she really, really does it. Like, if she's the only one home and the landlord shows up for the rent check, she'll go down and give it to him, you know. But my brother, he uses the other entrance and down the other hall, so he doesn't have to pass it. I have no problem getting past it because I don't weigh what my mom weighs. So, and if I have to push it up against the wall a little bit, I'll do it. Eventually, I would like to put boards in it and set my clothes that are in the other room, the grow room, on that. Because right now they're still in the bags and the duffel bags and stuff on the floor, but everything is hidden by like there's a shower curtain, there's a Trump banner, and then in my room I got another Trump banner, and I got an American flag, and I got things. When I took my name banner, my star, I put it backwards up against my wall so it doesn't show my name and stuff. So it doesn't look too identifiable as my YouTube set. Even though my mother has told the landlord about my channel because I wanted him to see those church videos where he saw the shenanigans that they were pulling. And so I had her point him there. Now, I just don't want my enemies to know about my channel, okay? Like the church, okay? Even though the way they have mistreated us, they don't think they have any right to expect respect or for me to keep my mouth shut. Okay, it's a bit of a difficult, challenging situation at times. Oh, you know what they're going through right now? They found out, they did some kind of a city inspection. They found out there is an oil tank buried in concrete in the back somewhere. And they're going to have to use uh, those, whatever you use to break up concrete. It's going to be noisy. It's going to be an undertaking. And I'm hoping the landlord fixes the hydraulic door. There's a door that swings loudly underneath my bed. It's one of their entrances, one of the church entrances, and it's right next to one of our entrances, right? But damn, the hydraulic door is supposed to keep it from slamming shut, and it slams. And it's like if my computer is on that little desk in front of that little table in front of my bed, and it's sticking out a little bit, the computer can fall under my floor. You slam it enough. There are all kinds of cracks in my brother's room, in his office, because of the structural weakness of this building, partially due to the shaking of trucks, shaking of cars, traffic, the hollowness of some of the city streets. They had done some fixing of the gas pipes and all these different things, and you realizing that we're on a barrier island and it's not necessarily solid under us the way Manhattan's built on this bedrock. Okay, so there's going to be more shaky areas in the city, and your house, things will shake and stuff, and that's something I haven't ever since the first time when they wanted to walk through. And I took down my Trump banners from my walls and I hid my YouTube sign and everything. And I put my YouTube symbol back. but I never put my truck banners back on my walls, and I had not filmed on my home set there since. I've only done filmings in my kitchen because ever since they did that, I felt like I just didn't enjoy my home set anymore. Plus, when I put that clean carpet for my cat, that's where my turnaround area is, and I don't want to get that carpet dirty with the shoes, So that's another reason why I haven't been filming on that set. Where I'm going to do my next live stream, I have no idea. So I'm always looking for some place neat to film. So it's okay. It's 4:08 p.m. It's 57% available. My batteries, and they're going to be turning that music louder. And you know, if they would not have the music on, I would go and show you the big bear. But that music was too loud for that. I think there was a video where I may have showed there's two bears at least, maybe three. But you see how thin. I really like the chairs in there. They look like some of them look like saloon ladies, some of them look like horses, and I forget what they all are. You know what? I'm gonna pull the plug out of here for a minute. Take a look. And try not to get in trouble here. I'll give you a look. Look behind me. Where's the horse? Oh, oh, here they are. Look behind me at the seats. Aren't they neat? Oh, I'm getting a cramp on my left foot. Oh, this is so weird, you guys. I am getting a cramp on the ball of my left foot. And this happens sometimes when I'm putting socks on, especially if they're like the Bombas compression socks. This is the weirdest thing. Shoe off my foot. The- Like I'm not standing on my toes, but I'm just putting a cushion, stretch my foot to uncramp it. That is the weirdest thing. Oh, I want to show you my shoes. These are sneakers, but you don't lace them up, and they're a fake snake, and they're very comfortable. They don't, even though they're not really wide or where the toe area is, but they're soft shoes, and they don't give me any pressure on the top of my feet. And lately, the top of my feet has been really sensitive these past couple of years. Yeah, I'm plugging in again. Okay, 58% available plugged in. But yeah, I really like these shoes. They're comfortable, and you can't fall off of them like the clogs because they're backless and they don't have a strap. There's always a chance that I can twist my ankle when I'm carrying a computer. That's not a good thing. So, but I don't want to make any promises, but I really am going to make more of an effort to go to see Trump in Madison Square Garden. Uh, I don't know that I have enough time to do this. I have two devices that if I can learn how to use them, I could bring them with me and I could get them in. But I don't know how to use them yet. But I'm going to ask somebody a question in case somebody can tell me. I had my original Amazon Fire tablet that I had a year and a half of my YouTube channel on, including the footage of Cassie being found dead and the footage of Tabby Boy dying and all that. And when I lost that tablet, and I'm still very traumatized by that. Now, a couple of months ago, a friend sent me another Amazon Fire tablet, and even though I hope you don't think that I'm getting Alzheimer's or something, but I don't. remember how to use them anymore. Well, what I'm worried about is that I have images in the cloud, the Amazon cloud, I guess. And I am concerned that, say I get this, start using this other Amazon Fire tablet, is that going to overwrite those cloud images? I don't want to take the chance of overwriting those precious pictures of my dead cats. But if I could fire up a tablet and take that with me to New York City, I can use that instead of this computer, and I could create my content with that, and I could get into C Trump, and I could film from that. Plus, I think it has a longer battery. Or I could bring both devices and hand off the computer to a friend there and keep the tablet with me. But do you guys know if I can use another Fire tablet and continue to create content without overwriting whatever images are in the cloud? See, I know that you only get 5 GB free cloud storage, and I had a 128 GB card. And when I lost the thing, I lost anything that I did post to YouTube or Facebook or anything, and I'm still in mourning over that. And I still have $100 uh, no questions asked reward. If anybody can present to me my original Amazon Fire tablet that's all got broken up, smashed up screen, but if you plug it in and I put my code in, I can tell that it's my pictures. If you can return it back to me, I will give you $100. I mean it. That it means that much to me. If you have this, I will give you $100. I ain't serious. And if by any chance I'm in a place where I don't have the money, I can get it from somebody and give it back to them or whatever. But I will do this for you. Anyway, if I can use this tablet or figure out how to use this old iPad that I bought, that I actually have a PDF file of the user manual that was sent to me by that same friend like over a year ago. And I still haven't had the time to sit down and look at it. Partly because looking at a manual online is not the same thing as having a booklet. And it's easier for me to have a booklet and look at while I am looking at the device. But anyway, if I have another device that's small that I can get past Secret Service, then I can take something to create content when I go to see Trump at Madison Square Garden if I decide to go. I don't want to say for sure that I'm definitely going, because that really costs a lot of money to pay for a bus ticket. And if I'm going to go through the whole camp out thing, that the temperature extremes, and also I'm going to have my cramping pills, because when I was in Wildwood camping out, I had leg cramps 4 different times that night. That was really, really not a comfortable situation. And when I was cold, I was so cold. And by the time we finally got into sea Trump, within an hour, the temperature was dropping, and I was getting so cold. And I was really bummed out because I wasn't able to create content because the tablet that I had with me, I couldn't figure out the glare made it so that I couldn't tell when I was filming. And I ran out of power, and the little power pack that somebody gave me was apparently not charged up enough, so I couldn't get charged up. And so I wasn't able to take pictures or video of my president. And then when I tried to retrieve the data from the memory card, I don't know. I think I may have broken it or something, but I don't know. I'm just really pissed off about that. So, but I did get a card reader for the mini SanDisk, whatever they're called. It reads that size and the bigger version of the card. I got one of them recently. Okay, battery status 64% available. Plugged in. So, you know what? Okay, see, I don't want to leave when Cheat Orange just got on here, but I don't know whether I'm even still broadcasting, because it says live and it says 1 hour, 59 minutes, 16, 17, 18, 19. So my sinuses are backing up real bad. Um, I could carry this as far as the bathroom goes, but I don't think people would appreciate me talking to a camera going into a ladies' room. Even though people do it with their cell phones all the time, and what's the fucking difference? You know? Um, you know what? I bet if I fold it down real hard, they won't even notice. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. If I don't get a tissue, my sinuses are gonna just go crazy. So here, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put consolidate my stuff and see if I can carry everything. Oh, got this too. Well, I might as well put the clapboard in this bag. Do you guys have any suggestions for helping me to make sure that when I'm holding my computer, like say I'm trying to film this, holding my computer so that you can see what I see instead of my inadvertently pointing it down and you're seeing the ground instead of what I want to film. That's a bad habit of mine with my production. And I'm wondering if maybe putting something on top of my computer, like a popsicle stick or something, won't guide me so that I can see like keep it more at eye level and see it's where I'm pointing this. I don't want to be pointing down here. I don't want to be pointing up at the sky. I want to be pointing so that you could see if I'm trying to film birds on a trash can, or if I'm trying to film a storefront or something cool. You know, you deserve to see what I'm trying to show you. You know what I mean? Okay. Let me get a let me get a tissue here. Oh, all right. I just got it. Hey, I could be getting coffee, right? Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Oh, first, I want to show you some kitty. I think they're squishies. The kitties. The only thing is a real big one that would take up a lot of space on your bed or whatever. Okay, that's a pig. And I guess that multicolored thing, I don't know. But the yellow thing must be cats, right? And what these guys up here, they're cats. And the yellow guys, they're cats. Now I have one of those gold rimmed cats that my mother turned out. She tried to throw it out, and because some mouse had nibbled on it or left a few turds on it or whatever fuck. I thought that my brother tried to throw it out. And of course, I rescued it out of the trash, cleaned it real good. And my mother said that she's the one that tried to throw it out. Anyway, let's see if they have any other cats there. Uh, but I have a number of the cat stuffed animals that I actually found in the neighbor's trash. I have never stepped foot in this candy shop, but you know what? Right now, junk food is the last thing I should be thinking about. I've been lately watching a whole lot of videos on Facebook, the Facebook Reels. They have these nutritionists and things, and it's really eye opening. So sometimes I think I'm eating all the worst stuff. Okay, now I'm going to point the thing down a little low so I don't trip people out. Okay. Oh, you know what? Here. Mayonnaise. Maybe Thor's watching. Have you been in the ladies' room before? Yeah. Look. Ladies' room. I just got some tissue. I'm okay. No, wow. Okay. All right. I got what I needed to get. No tissue at all. And, you know, we have not had any of those sinus pills I was trying to get when we were at, when I went to the dollar store, they didn't have them. They're called cetirizines. And I would still be willing to go to another Dollar Tree if they had them and get a bunch of them because my mother can get some. She has one of the benefits of her health insurance is they allow her $75 voucher to get a certain assortment of health products from either Walgreens or CVS. I think it's CVS. And they mail them postage paid and everything. But the prices they charge for things, even though it's their money, not yours, is still fucking ridiculous. And it's much cheaper to get the bottle, the packages at the Dollar Tree for $1.25 for like 22 dosage, rather than a bottle of, I think it would be $54 for 200 or whatever. The Dollar Tree deal was still by far the better deal. And I said, Mom, let me go and get this for you. And she says, well, you know what? She needs to use her benefit or else it goes away. It's not like it adds to the next month, you know? But my son are, yeah, I've, we've been without this, any sinus medicine for over a month. And sometimes I'll be out in the field and I don't know what it is, but it makes my sinuses go up. And I haven't detected any cigarette smoke. Usually that is the big thing. Cigarette smoke is a big affector of my sinuses. Stress is a big thing. But ironically enough, stress hasn't been enough to do it. Um, now I'm going to try to very politely blow my nose without being offensive. But I didn't. It's not from my dress. Do you like this dress? Can you believe how I found it? That some crackheads literally left it in a ball in a parking lot. And I thought it was absolutely cute, absolutely my style. You never have too much liberty as you was right, you know? And this time of year usually sucks because it's getting chilly and all that stuff. But when you occasionally have a beautiful day like this, it is so gorgeous out. You know, and I thought maybe we were going to have more warm days this week, but according to the Weather Channel, this is the nicest day. So I'm really glad that I got to do this. I'm glad that I'm live talking to you guys. And I've been getting a lot of new people have been finding my channel, and I think that's really cool. And the people that I met through other YouTubers, I really think that's nice when somebody says I came to you through when they tell me to use your name to somebody. I'm like, hi Debbie. You see, I haven't taken my hair out, but I kept my promise when I told you the next lead color is gonna be red. I didn't lie. Oh, I wanted to share what these loops are, these big loops. They're from bottle tops of soda or juice or something. There is an inner ring that is part of the tamper-proof seal. And when you open it, when you twist it, this is around the neck And if you use a knife or something, you could take that off, and it keeps the beads from falling out. This was from a bottle of olive oil. This was from a dollar store cat collar charm. I painted it with nail polish. Um, these things will poke your eye out. But you know what? This is actually a self-defense weapon that nobody would know I have. And it's made of plastic. You know what? Maybe I shouldn't take my hair down until I know what's going on with the Trump rally, huh? Because if I start taking my hair out and then I go to the rally, it's kind of going to look partly like a ponytail and then braids in the front, which is ironically how I looked when I went to see him in Wildwood. If you remember, I had a bit of a ponytail and the rest of my hair was in braids. So, but I like to, if I know I'm going through Secret Service, I like to have as little metal on me as possible. So the only thing that's metal in this, let me see if this is metal. No, this is plastic. This is metal though. And this little thing here is a tiny little washer. So this is metal. This is rubber. I had another one of these. This cat is metal. Everything else is plastic. I really wish I had ordered the clapboard shaped coasters on TV. That would have been perfect for taking your rally because they're not big enough to be considered as a weapon. They're not heavy. They can't hurt anybody. And if I was filming, all I would have to do is show that and get kind of the similar effect as the clapboard. Thank you. One thing you got to watch out in is this has a texture to it and it could snag the hair. But if you go in the direction of it, it is it's kind of like those spikes that if you drive on them, they poke your tires. But I really was thinking about starting to take my hair out. But the thing is, I really got to see if there's a chance that I could see Trump. Because you see, one of my friends who I went to school with, he lives in New York. He's administrator for a famous cancer hospital in Manhattan. I don't want to drop the name. I probably have dropped it before, but I have no idea what days he works. You know, and I know he's not a fan of McDonald's. And you know, I kind of get jealous when I see everybody who's like using their teeny tiny devices, their phones and stuff, and they're using that to film and stuff. But even if I had a cell phone right now, I wouldn't be able to learn how to use it in time. I mean, what I could do is okay, I can learn the camera, but in order to broadcast something live, you would have to have an internet connection or airtime. When I was in Wildwood, one of the things that pissed me off no end is I thought I was doing my research ahead of time. As soon as I found out I was going to Wildwood, right? And I asked some friends of mine on Facebook who are big Trumpers who live and work around there. And I said, how's the Wi-Fi there? And they said, oh, it's great. You'll have no problem finding signal. I didn't realize that they thought I meant bars, cell phone, because nobody, unless they know, nobody knows that I create content this way with computer or whatever. People are so used to using cell phones for everything. The idea of somebody lugging around a 17-inch computer just blows their mind. So I go to Wildwood and I go up and down that boardwalk and I could not find any Wi-Fi anywhere. I did not have time to get a map. So I wasn't able to find like a library or any place that I could have gone live. And anyhow, that wouldn't have been close to where I was anyway. You want to go live where you're at so you can show what we're doing, and the fact that once we got onto the beach for our camp out, there was no longer a place to plug in. And I really would have loved to have broadcasted or at least filmed during the camp out because that was so meaningful. There's so much of that group experience when you feel that you belong. When you go to a Trump rally, no matter what you look like, no matter anything about you, you're treated like you belong. If we're all united that we love this guy and we love America and we want to feel safe when we go out, we want to have a society that we can afford to participate in. For the people that drive, we want affordable gas. For the people that are paying money for rent and mortgages, you want to be able to afford your dwelling. Uh, you want to be able to not only be able to make ends meet, but you want to be able to enjoy your life. You want to have a quality of life without having to worry about, do I have to worry about the new people next door because maybe they're snuck over on some cartel and they might have gang ties. You don't want to have to worry about that, like the people in Aurora and people all over are having all these problems. Now, one thing is somebody mentioned to me a couple hours ago before I started filming today. Apparently, Brian Kilmeade's radio show had Trump on this morning, and I wish I would know that because his radio show is on WPG AM radio in Atlantic City. And when I listen to AM radio, that is one of the stations I listen to. But I was watching Fox News at the time. And at night, I slept to a YouTube video live stream that was energy and music supposed to return the sender any negativity, bad magic, whatever sent your way. In case I was under some kind of hex, I want to just send it on. So I'm getting ready to celebrate my birthday. I don't want anybody to ruin my day and my life. And like my brother did, he just came back from 8 days in a hotel room yesterday. And he had, and now, they're starting with Halloween parties soon, and my birthday's always been a challenge because Halloween, if you're investing time in getting a costume together and finding things to do, and it's not used to be Halloween was one day, and I always celebrated on the 31st. Always wore a costume, special makeup and everything, because if I didn't, it'd be asshole complimenting me on my costume. So I always had a complicated relationship with Halloween for that reason. Because people wouldn't just think that, this is the way I look and make it like my look is a butt of a joke or something. That's always been a problem. But now that there's clubs, they have the whole weekend, it's Halloween, and they have this costume contests and everything. And so it could be the actual day, but then the weekend of, especially when there's more of the adults dressing up so they go to parties and stuff. But and I have won a few costumes before. And if I even try to come up with something to do for Halloween, then before you know it, my birthday will be here, and then I'll miss out on that. And then election day will be here. So what I'm thinking of maybe doing is, if the first day of early in-person voting is the 26th of this month, so I'm thinking I'm going to go to my polling place and I'm going to cast my ballot on the 26th. But now I haven't gotten the voting information in the mail yet. Now my mother, she voted by mail already. She cast her Democrat. I haven't gotten my ballot yet. Because what I do is, instead of presenting photo ID, I always presented my voter registration card. And I usually go in with my sample ballot. It has my name and address on it. And it shows all the people that you can vote for. And if it's something where you can only vote for your party, then it designates that to, primaries and stuff. But I don't know when they're going to have them in the mail. It seems to me that they should get on it, especially if they're allowing in-person voting already, or like in a couple of days. Why aren't they in the mail yet? That's what I would like to. Because I want to do my voting. I normally prefer to vote in person on election day. Until fairly recently, that was how you voted. Unless you live in the state of California and you were showbiz like I was, where you could get permanent absentee ballot voting so that when you're traveling, you could still vote. When first couple of years after 9/11, I voted in the state of California. I identified as bi-postal. I still had my mailing address, Los Angeles. I still had so many ties there, plus my storage. And I was pretty sure that in a few months I was going to go back there. So I wasn't flying, even though I was in New Jersey physically. I was mentally, and I considered my residence to be the state of California. Um, and I went from Democrat to Republican, and all because of George W. Bush and 9/11 and all that. But then I became a New Jersey voter, and it was always in person on election day. But then COVID started with this, and now having a whole bunch of vote, which I kind of have a real funny feeling about because, hello, why can't you take one day and vote? Especially if there's no reason why you can't, like if there's a conflict between work and voting, obviously nobody wants to take it off work. But I thought there was a law now that employers had to let you off for work. But if you have all month to vote, then they don't need to do that. But the thing is, say you voted early and you say you wanted to change your mind. That's my concern about voting early. Say they let you vote early, and then say a whole bunch of people decided to vote for Kamala Harris, right? And then say finally some big bombshell like what October surprise happens, and they find out like okay, they say last time around they suppressed the information about the Hunter Biden laptops. So people didn't know that it was true. And they said if people had access to that information, if they hadn't been suppressed, if they hadn't been as told by social media big text groups, you can't say this. You can't say it on national news. You can't say it on YouTube. You can't say it on Facebook. If you did searches on Google, now they suppressed Trump. If you want to know information about Trump, I didn't know I wasn't even plugged in these times. Okay, I'm plugged in. Now it says 53% available plugged in. I thought I was plugged in. Anyway, yeah, they now that the public knows more things, they say that Trump probably would have won if they had known the truth about the Hunter laptop. That may have made that big a difference to the swing vote. But now they're saying that if you're in a state that are trying to clear off the illegal aliens from your voting rolls, and then the state that is trying to sue you, or the ACLU suing you just because you don't want ineligible voters, and they're accusing that of voter suppression. See, this is one of the things that pisses me off about Democrats. Everybody says that we want a fair democracy, right? Everybody wants things to be fair. I think that's just a universal thing. You want things honest. You want your vote counted. We all want that, right? Nobody, you say nobody wants to be defrauded. That doesn't mean that you don't want your side to cheat if it guarantees that your guy's going to win. It's like, okay, who doesn't pray for their sports team to win? You're a little kid and it's snowing. Who doesn't pray that the school gets is closed so you can play in the snow, right? So people will pray that their team wins a Super Bowl. People will pray for things like that. People will pray when they go out gambling, they win a jackpot. So if somebody prays that the guy they want to win presidency wins the presidency, do you think that is an unfair use of power, the power of prayer to influence an election? Do you think there's any ethics involved? So say somebody lights a candle, does some magic to get George W. Bush reelected. Wait, that said that they were hexing Trump. And a whole lot of people in the Witcher community that were actively hexing him. And how I know this is because they would go on the message boards. Their witches have message boards just like anybody else. Vampires have message boards. Any interest lifestyle has a message board. And people will talk. And they will say, oh yeah, let's do a working, let's get this deity to send its to this boogeyman that we don't like. People will actually feel that they're doing the right thing. You have enough people saying this rhetoric that Trump is as bad as Hitler. Nobody likes Hitler, so obviously, yes, you're arousing the passions of people. People are going to say, "Oh, he's a bad guy. We can't let him destroy our country. We can't let him move with the government." But people forget something. He's already had a 4-year term. How did he fuck things up? He didn't. When it was time for him to step down and Biden took his place, he stepped down. Biden took his place. There was a peaceful transfer of power. Um, Trump did not get us into any new wars. If anything, we were respected more when he was in charge. Gas was cheaper. Rents tended to be cheaper. Most of us were doing better when he was in office. We were safer. The borders were closed. We didn't have as much time to wait in your hospital waiting room. I'm sure there wasn't as bad a traffic with the illegal aliens, and especially the border towns and areas like Southern California. Heck, I noticed the difference in the traffic. Like I started going there in late 85, October of 85, I flew out there. But October of 86, I drove back there. I moved the fifth flew out there. And so I saw the differences in how crowded the freeways are. The more people moved in, and a lot of them were those illegal aliens. I saw it with those 6-lane freeways. It was undeniable to me. You could see how crowded waiting rooms were in County General Hospital, which is one of the places you go if you're poor or if you're rich. You get the best health care in California. You do. Well, my goodness. I think that may be that Jelly Roll story. I kind of owe Jelly Roll an apology. When I first heard about him, I just heard he was this very rotund man with the tattoos on his face. And something about face tattoos doesn't always give me the warm and fuzzies. But the more I heard about the guy, the more respect I have for him. And plus, I do have more than a casual appreciation for country music. Okay, Debbie says, I hope you get to go. I sent you a pic of our Trump Tower. Yes, I saw that in the article where the town's trying to get them to take that down and finding them every day, which is such a douchebag. National Hate Service, PhD, MBCHB. Hope you're all good, Leather. Just dropping it out again in '07 chat. Hey, thank you for tuning in. Um, at least I fulfilled my promise to myself in that I planned on going live this afternoon, and I did that. I'm glad I did. I don't know how long I'm going to stay here. I'm going to try to stay here until I'm charged up, unless I get kicked off. Because when you're in a public place, you just never know. Uh, but at least I'm able to be plugged in, and I'm in a relatively secluded area. Um, Hopefully, I'm not disturbing anybody with my talking. I don't want to talk too loud, but I know that I'm hard to be heard. So, uh, you know what? Actually, I'm thinking maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to get on home because, I'm curious to see what the landlord's reaction was to that shelf was in front of the steps. Gave my mother a hard time. I specifically asked her to please tell him that I was the only person that was directly impacted. You like how this totally covers me, just to give me some protection from that sun, because it's really, really out there. Yeah, I think I might actually go live later on today, maybe in the house, maybe in the garden. I don't know, but I just have this sudden impulse to go home, go in that direction. I don't know what it is I'm vibing on. I have learned to listen to my intuition. And I'm going to have to start trying today, maybe start sticking my feelers out for where I could drop off my laptop, you know? And so I love I hate how fucking expensive the bus fare is. It's either to get there, it's gonna be either $88 or $44. 88 regular fare, $44 if they think I look like a senior citizen. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put foundation on a little on the heavy side, let it cake into my wrinkles, and I get close to the bartender, and maybe I'll walk hunched over like I got a dowager hump. I say, "How much is it to New York?" He says, "Are you a senior?" I said, "Yes." And I get it in half price. This worked when last time I went to Pleasantville, and the thing is, nobody wants to look old. Nobody wants to be told they look old. But if you're going to cut my fare in half when I don't really have an income anymore, courtesy of the AC police department, then maybe maybe I need to be resourceful and get every discount that I can. You know, my mom and my brother, they get half price New Jersey Transit, they get half price jitneys, and you get a strip of 10 jitney tickets, and it was I forget what the break is just for getting the 10, but I have not taken the jitney. Can't remember the last time I took a jitney. It's technically cheaper. If I was going to Golden Nugget, it would be cheaper to take New Jersey Transit. It was like $1.60 when the jitney was $2.25, and then it went up to $2.50. And maybe even more now. I don't know. Is the jitney $2.50 or $2.75 out here? I don't know. Okay, it is now 4:50 p.m. It is battery status 65% remaining. It says 1 hour and 51 minutes. But you know what? I'm gonna walk out of here. I'm gonna give you a bit of a oh, you know what? I'm gonna give you a little bit of a look at uh Starbucks. Inside of Starbucks. I know you probably have seen lots of Starbucks, but and something since I'm on this diet now, I shouldn't even be thinking about, but oh, stuff is good. But yeah, I think I gotta no more shoving pies and cakes into me and stuff. And and especially all these things that I'm learning about the dangers of the all the carbohydrates and what sugars feed and all that stuff. I don't need that. And I've been learning more stuff about what's this thing? What's this vitamin that I learned? Oh fuck. I can't remember what it is. Um, I'm gonna I'm probably gonna lose my signal when I get much further. But well, I can't think of what's that mineral. If it's not potassium, magnesium. Magnesium, not magnesium citrate. You want magnesium glycinate, like they advertise it on TV. And I discovered this chiropractor. He is an internet doctor by the name of Dr. Peter Berg. And I got turned on to his short videos, the reels on Facebook, and I learned so much. And he made a video where he did reference muscle spasms and things. And I'm thinking, if that magnesium, if it would be as easy as taking that, because he said that it wouldn't do any good to go to a doctor and get my blood levels checked because magnesium is not stored in the blood. Only 1% of it can be detected in the blood. Like 30% of it's in the bones, some of it's in the tissue deep in the muscles and stuff. And so you can't so easily go and get tested to find out what your magnesium levels are. And that's what I thought that I needed to do, go to a doctor and get some kind of a markup of levels of different things to get to the bottom of my cramps and stuff. Figured it would be that easy. All I had to do is get off my ass and get a real general practitioner. Or I figured it would be so much easier to just go to California when I go deal with my storage, go and say, look, I get these leg cramps sometimes a couple times a week. Uh, oh, and it sucked the other day when I couldn't find where those pills were. And I had to hobble over to my mom's bedroom and stuff, But now I know where they are, and there's a certain travel container that I have them in. Of course, I probably should have them. I can't see the point of having them on me when I'm out walking around because that's not usually when I get cramps. It's usually when I'm laying down. Aside from maybe foot cramps and stuff, I don't really need to have that stuff on me when I'm out walking around. All right, I have a feeling this is going to shut off as soon as I walk out of the range. So I will talk to you guys maybe in a couple hours. I can't promise you, but I will go live again. Thank you all for tuning in. I've been doing this today for 2 hours, 36 minutes, and 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. So thank you from Atlantic City. Oh, and we're going to see the tram car. I wonder how much it costs to run them now. Bye bye. Thank you for tuning in.